The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as the holographic display flickered to life. Ambassador Zixthor of the Krenali Empire leaned forward, his compound eyes narrowing at the impossible readings streaming across the screen. For 3 cycles, the Council had dismissed Earth's warnings about the Vorathon invasion fleet. Now that dismissal felt like ash in his throat. Humans, he had scoffed just days ago, are a Category 2 civilization. They barely mastered faster-than-light travel a generation ago. Lisa Chen stood at the human delegation's podium, her expression unreadable. The young diplomat had endured weeks of condescension, her warnings falling on deaf ears. The Vorath were coming, a fleet of 200 warships, each capable of glassing a planet. Earth, the Council decided, would be a tragic but acceptable loss, a lesson in hubris for species that reach too far too fast. The Vorathon Vanguard will breach Earth's orbital space in 47 minutes, announced Counselor Vex, her crystalline form refracting the chamber's dim light. I move that we observe a moment of silence for— That won't be necessary, Lisa interrupted, her voice cutting through the chamber like a blade. The assembled representatives erupted in outrage. Max Rodriguez, Lisa's military liaison, remained statue still beside her, his weathered face betraying nothing. The former naval commander had seen enough in his 30 years of service to trust the plan, no matter how insane it seemed. Silence. Zixthor's translator boomed. Delegate Chen, your world faces annihilation. This is no time for human bravado. Lisa smiled, and something in that expression made Zixthor's blood run cold. Computer, she said calmly. Display feed 7 Alpha. Live transmission from Earth's Lagrange Point 2. The hologram shifted, showing empty space dotted with stars. The council members exchanged confused glances. Then reality folded. It started as a shimmer, like heat waves rising from desert sand. Space itself seemed to peel back, revealing something that defied every known law of physics and engineering. The assembled delegates watched in stunned silence as a vessel materialized from nowhere, or more accurately, from a pocket dimension that shouldn't exist. The UNSS Terran Resolve emerged like a titan awakening from a forgotten dream. By the ancients, whispered Vex, her crystalline structure dimming in shock. The Supercarrier stretched across the display, dwarfing even the legendary dreadnoughts of the Krenali Empire. 50 kilometers from bow to stern, its hull was a masterwork of human engineering, angular, brutal, and covered in weapon systems that made the galaxy's finest warships look like children's toys. But it was the fighter bays that drew every eye. Hundreds of launch tubes lined the carrier's flanks, each one already disgorging sleek combat craft that moved with impossible grace. What is that? Zixthor managed, his translator struggling to capture his species' expression of absolute disbelief. Max stepped forward, his voice carrying the weight of Earth's hidden truth. That, Ambassador, is why we've been so quiet for the past 20 years. While the galaxy assumed we were struggling with basic FTL technology, we were actually solving a different problem: how to hide something that big. The tactical display updated, showing the Vorathon fleet entering Earth's outer system. 200 warships, each a proven killer, confident in their numerical superiority. The display zoomed in on the lead Vorathon dreadnought, then showed it simply ceased to exist as a lance of coherent energy punched through its shields like they were paper. Dimensional folding technology, Lisa explained, her tone almost conversational. We didn't invent FTL travel 20 years ago. We've had it for 60. What we invented 20 years ago was the ability to hide a 50-kilometer warship in a pocket dimension while it sat in our own backyard. Waiting, the Terran Resolve fired again, and 3 more Vorathon vessels disappeared in blossoms of atomic fire. Its fighter screen, nearly 1,000 combat craft, swept through the enemy formation like a swarm of metallic locusts. The Vorath, legendary for their military prowess, were being systematically dismantled. But the energy requirements, Vex stammered. The computational power needed to fold space on that scale would bankrupt most civilizations, Max agreed. Turns out humans are really good at 2 things: holding grudges and solving impossible problems when we're angry enough. After the Vorath raided our colony on Kepler 442b and killed 15,000 civilians, we got creative. The battle, if it could even be called that, lasted 18 minutes. The Vorathon fleet, terror of the Outer Rim, was reduced to debris and fleeing survivors. The Terran Resolve hung in space like a promise and a threat, its weapon system still glowing with residual heat. Zixthor found his voice, though it came out as barely a whisper. "How many of these do you have?" Lisa's smile widened. "Enough. You could have revealed this at any time," Vex said, her tone accusatory. "You let us believe you were weak, vulnerable." "We let you underestimate us," Max corrected. "There's a difference. We needed to know who our friends were, who would stand with Earth when it mattered." His gaze swept across the council chamber, lingering on those who had voted to abandon humanity to its fate. "Turns out not many of you." The hologram shifted again, showing 6 more spatial distortions appearing throughout Earth's solar system. 6 more carriers, each matching the Terran Resolve's specifications, phasing into normal space like nightmares given form. "We're not asking for the Council's protection anymore," Lisa announced. "We're offering ours. The Vorath won't stop with Earth, they never do. But they will stop, because we're going to make them." Zixthor slumped in his chamber seat, decades of diplomatic certainty crumbling around him. Humanity, the species the galaxy had dismissed as primitive newcomers, had just rewritten every strategic calculation in known space. They hadn't just matched the great powers, they'd leapfrogged them while everyone watched, seeing nothing. "What do you want?" he asked finally. Lisa exchanged a glance with Max. When she looked back at the council, her expression was all business. "Respect," she said simply, "and a vote on the new galactic security protocols, starting with the immediate deployment of a joint task force to hunt down what's left of the Vorathan fleet. Earth will contribute the Terran Resolve and her sister ships. The question is, will you contribute anything or will you keep underestimating us?" The silence in the council chamber was absolute. Outside, 7 human supercarriers hung in the void, their presence rewriting the galaxy's future one shocked delegate at a time. Humanity had spoken. The galaxy had no choice but to listen.